Hello, welcome to St. Thomas, our video podcasts. We hope you've been enjoying them. Today you'll have a treat. Tony Walter will be sharing with you about what God's been up to in his life. I invite you to give him your attention and enjoy his life and his connection to God.
A few years ago, I took on a new part-time job, a couple afternoons a week, where I would work as a instructor for Behind the Wheel, a driver's ed program. It was through a high school near Madison in Verona, but I would have students from a lot of different high schools. Some of my friends kind of equated it with walking the plank, but it was nothing like that. What I learned was that this job served two major purposes. One, gave me an activity and got me out and doing things. But secondly, it reinforced and reminded me of something I had learned in my years in youth ministry, that the most important aspect of teaching and learning was relationship. So when I would have a student get into the car for the first time, or where I was meeting for the first time, I tried to establish a relationship by finding out what their interests were. Were they into theater? Were they into music, into art, into sports? And tell them we would talk about different things like that, while I would still be trying to focus on their skills as a driver. For example, I might ask a student, well, what position do you play in baseball? Now turn right at this next intersection. Or another student, I might ask, what role are you playing in that school play? Now slow down a little bit, you're going a little too fast right here. Or another student, I might ask, in your art class, do you prefer drawing or painting? Now that was a mistake. That was a stop sign there. It means you need a full stop when you come to that. Another time, a student might be out into the remote part of the county, place that he or she had never been before, and will say to me something along the lines of, I really don't know where I am or where I'm going. And I always was able to say, well, it's okay, I do. And sometimes driving with the students, they might ask me, what's the speed limit here? And even if I knew, I would always answer, what do you think it is? For example, if we were in a residential area and a lot of children around, they knew it wasn't a 50-mile-an-hour speed limit. If we were out in the country and there's wide open spaces, they knew it wasn't a 25. So whatever they guessed it was, they're probably pretty accurate. It got me to thinking that lots of our religious, part of our religious life kind of follows the same way. For example, we think of Jesus' words saying things like, love one another. We might ask, what does that mean? Well, we might all have different answers, but we would be right. Take care of those in need, for one thing. Or when Jesus says, follow me, what does that mean? Well, we might have different answers, but we would probably get it right. I think that's one reason that Jesus talked in parables, knowing that different people would have different explanations, whether it was from the pulpit or in Bible studies or just in conversation, but probably be right. All this conversation brings me full way around to one of the themes of the podcast, like where am I in God right now? And a lot of it is about relationship. As you kind of decide, in my case, as you get on in years and different issues arise in your life and you're wondering, what do I do next? There's that voice beside you saying, turn right, that next intersection. Or if I get anxious and want results of something, that voice is saying, slow down, not so fast. Or if perhaps I do something I know is wrong, and yet there's that assurance in the relationship that I'm forgiven. And certainly, at this stage of my life, being in a certain place of not knowing exactly where I am or where I'm going, there's that voice and that assurance saying, I know. I recall a couple of years ago, I had a young man, the first time he was doing behind the wheel, and he was very nervous. And he turned a corner too fast and panicked. And he meant to hit the brake, but he hit the accelerator, and the car jumped up on the curb, and it went up on the lawn. He put his head down on the steering wheel, and I said, are you hurt? And he said, no. I said, is the car damaged? No. I said, well, it's okay then. You won't do that again. I had the same young man, when he had his last behind the wheel appointment with me. And he asked me about the brake that I had on my side of the car, a brake that I have never touched. And he said, you know, from that first lesson, you taught me so much, because one, you cared about me, but you said my mistake was okay. And he said that made so much of a difference. I just smiled at him and I said, I had a good role model.